think we have some interesting comments here. So Yinka Oshobu says, I will from this point send a note to my customers who had orders hanging, orders that could not be completed due to the shutdown. Of course, that's insight from, the description.
Fantastic.
It's very, very good. Yeah. So there is a question here from Mona Lisa. She says, I'm in the fashion industry and would love to hear she would love to hear your views on the way forward, because if people are still working, they are still worshiping, they are still partying, doing all of this remotely, where does that, leave someone who is into fashion business, right? So that's a quick question. Maybe we should take questions one after the other.
Yeah. And then if you see a question that is similar, we'll just refer to the answer we had before. So for that, it'll be interesting to maybe chat with you more to know what kind of business it is you're doing and what kind of fashion you're in. You're right, because people are not going out anymore. Virtual parties are happening now, so nobody's dressing up too much like before. All Ashwebis and all those things are not happening like before. But I think you want to start by checking with your customers to say, how is the experience at this time? How is that going for them? And suggestions around things like, so one idea that came to me, because like I said, I was in the fashion business before, clothes kind of get worn out if you don't wear them regularly and you air them and wear them and use them, right? So you might want to begin to give some people tips around like, how to take care of your clothes when you're not wearing them regularly. You might want to give people tips around, like I jokingly said, make sure you're trying out your clothes so that the COVID is over and then you don't have clothes because your wardrobe is tight for you or whatever. There may not be too many revenue generating things to do at this time, but one thing I can guarantee is being in touch with your customers and just adding value in whatever way that you can at this time is bound to generate something else. Another idea is you may want to start some online training. Some people are home, they are bored. Some people may be out of jobs, and you can then begin to say, would you like to learn how to do some basic designs? And then you start your online training just like we're doing here, give them tips on what they need to get with them and make that happen. From the training, you can set up coaching to coach some of them that really want to go into the business, and then how to set up a business, so the ideas can keep flowing like that. But yeah, those are some initial thoughts coming to me. Knowing your business might help to, give you more specific ideas.
Okay, so she's into leather bags, makes leather bags.
Okay.
Leather shoes.
Yeah, I think some of those ideas will still work in that scenario as well.
Thank you. Here's a comment. So he said, I'm benefiting from all the different approach about different companies who are working remotely are doing. And so I'm getting a lot from this. So, but he's saying that unfortunately, his own staff always believe that giving is one way, even though they've been provided with laptop and data payments, they don't seem to be working effectively. So maybe there could be some quick insights as to motivate them to work remotely.
Yeah, I think I've heard a few things about the entitlement some employees have at this time, and I am really shocked when I hear people thinking like that. I think it's good to ground those people in reality. So just go online and pick data of number of people who have lost their jobs in Canada, in the US, and just start with that. I think reality checks like that, it's shock therapy, as I call it, will help people. And let them realize that although that's not the plan in your case, it's important that people realize that for a business to continue, everybody has a part to play. And then, talk about the things you provided support with them with, and then, ask them why you're not seeing those results. Like I suggested before, it's really important that you're focusing more on targets and deadlines. So when the deadlines are not met, it provides a room for a clear and focused discussion to say, why didn't you? What was the challenge? And if there are really genuine challenges, see how you can support them. But if there are real performance issues, again, remind them that there are many more people out there right now. And because everybody's working remote, this person's job is actually being under threat by a global workforce, because you can hire from anywhere in the world right now. Nobody can come in physically. So I think those are some ideas. Just ground them in reality, show them some statistics to get them out of the clouds, demonstrate your support, and ask them for results and hold them accountable to those results if you don't see them coming through.
Okay, great, thank you. So this person, I believe, is probably into production or processing. Yeah. So he's saying that in this period, is this period a good time to make certain procurement, given that as a result of the recession, this might impact the Naira-dollar exchange. And so what it means is that some prices of certain equipment might be going for more. So is it wise to make such procurement now or to still hold until after COVID-19?
Yeah, again, it will be difficult to answer the question in total isolation of your business. Excuse me. But excuse me, I think if you follow those questions we looked at under procurement, under finance, and you're linking it to everything else. So if you've identified, maybe just an example, you've identified that this service is now the service your clients will need in the way COVID is going, based on what you see as the industry evolution for yourself and the impact on COVID, whatever the industry is. If that's the service that your customers will need, and this equipment is going to help you to provide that service, then I think you should go for it, because eventually, either way, things go with the Naira. If that equipment will generate new revenue for you and probably even put you ahead of some other people that are not doing that right now, it will be good for your business viability and maybe even growth at this time. So I would suggest, yes, so far as it checks the box of helping you provide services to your clients and your customers at this time.
Okay, maybe this would be like a very quick follow-up question to that. This person is also into um, product accessories that are imported from China. And if this COVID-19 continues, it will definitely impact the business negatively. And he's thinking of starting a production factory here. So he's asking that, do you think it's the right time, or do you think he should still hold on? So he is into window blinds and dressing for homes and offices. So he's wondering how um, he could move on
Yeah,
given the
for
situation.
top of my head, for that kind of business, my suggestion, again, I don't want to be too specific, but from what you just explained, Akinwande, and knowing that in-person businesses are under threat, so you can't install a window blind remotely. When we moved to this house, because in Canada everything is do it yourself. Nobody, if you want to pay for someone to install window blind, you probably pay more for the installation than the window blind itself, because labor is very expensive here. So I've learned to do some things myself, and window blind is something I didn't enjoy doing. I had to ask friends to come. Anyway, what I'm trying to say that is, I think it's a bit hard to do. If there is a way that you're able to come up with a product that people can install easily by themselves, and you really think there's a market for it in these times, or you think that because things may not be coming from China in the short term or long term, and therefore there's an opportunity for local manufacturing, I would say consider it. But in the reality of everything going on, I wouldn't suggest that kind of an expansion at this time. My suggestion.
Okay, thank you very much. So this person is saying, thank you so much for the honest conversation and detailed information. So she runs a knowledge-based business. And
Okay.
okay, so let me just read from her perspective. And to plan to roll out a new product in a few weeks. So with everything happening, they had to hold on it. So seeing that, seeing as we have no idea why. Okay, seeing that, one is not sure of when holidays will end. So when do you consider, as a right time to launch a new product for knowledge-based business? And if they have to even go on now, would it be detrimental, or what would be your advice?
So when you say knowledge-based business, what does that mean? Just for me to be clear. It's
Okay,
like
so
consulting, is
personal
it?
development, productivity,
Oh, all
yes.
right. I think there's a great opportunity for that right now. I think, and maybe a more personal example will help. So I'm later on this week, I'll be speaking at this network of professionals here in Canada. It's going to be online, of course, as well. And the topic I put together to talk about is just similar to this. This was business continuity and growth during COVID. That one is professional or career growth and continuity during COVID. And I've come up with these 8 sections for the business. I've designed 7 areas that impact people on a personal level at this time. And essentially the summary of the gist there, just like I said when we started this session, was this is the time when you want to look at your career strategically as well and ask yourself, what are the new knowledge and skills that will emerge once this is over? Because workplace will not be the same. School will not be the same. Many things will not be the same. My daughter's already getting so used to just being at home that by the time we start waking them up earlier to go back to school, we're sensing there might be some resistance. So all that to say that I think a knowledge-based business that can be run virtually and remotely will be a fantastic thing to do at this time. And where you want to focus on is asking people that what if you lose your job? And it's not scaring them. It's just being very, like I said, in business and in career, you want to be very practical to say, if you were to lose your job now, sorry, what are the alternatives that you have? What skills have you learned? If you want to keep your job and even perform well at this time, how can you perform? So in that talk on Wednesday, I'm going to be telling them, for example, that when you're going to join a call from the office now, you don't want to just join in your pajamas and on the sofa, because those few interactions with your boss are the only few interactions he's going to have with you. And if he sees you like that at that moment, without him wanting to, subconsciously, he forms the image that is how you are all day long. Especially if you're not in a place where they've defined targets and all, and you're kissing that. So my suggestion to them would be, when you show up for a call, show up with video, show up ready, like you're ready to be part of the meeting, and all that kind of stuff. So those are skills, knowledge, ideas, personal development, personal effectiveness that you can share. People will be struggling at this time to keep a regular schedule. Work helps people keep schedules. Now, without work, some people will struggle with that. So I think it's really great to launch that at this time. I think it's a fantastic opportunity, but make sure your services are tailored to what the needs in the market are at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is a quick comment from someone. It says, going forward, exploring Zoom as a remote meeting platform for my team is a must. So of course,
Awesome,
the
awesome.
effectiveness of this and your comment as well. Okay, so this person wants to know, he runs an e-commerce business and feels asking employees to go home is not possible, as we have more inquiries keeping us really busy, but blockades and curfews are affecting deliveries, hence lower revenues. What do you suggest? What do you suggest to respect, and how do we manage this?
It's tough. It's really tough. The curfew thing is making things really, really tough. I think for e-commerce businesses here in Canada, what has helped them is the postal service is very efficient, and it's continued even in the midst of this. Um, I'm not very close to, how the curfews are working, but from what I gathered from the news, because I know sometimes news and reality on ground may not be the same. I think there are like times of the day that people are not supposed to move out at all. And I think in Lagos right now, you're not even supposed to go out at all, except to the market and a few other places. So it's really, really tough for deliveries. I think you just need to stay close to the news and keep, hearing what the government is giving as per the guidelines. See if there are some margins that you can capitalize there. See if you have contact with the Lagos state government, if you're in Lagos or wherever you're based, and see where if you can get some forms of guidance or exceptions. It's really going to be tough for deliveries, especially when you don't have like an efficient postal service. But unfortunately, I don't have, like on top of my head, ideas that you can work with right now.
Thank you very much. So in Lagos, really, it's a total lockdown, except for
Yeah.
very essential services. So
And the
you don't
postal
get,
service is not great, right? So it's
it's
tough
not.
to like say you want to post, you might not even get there.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay. So this person is saying, I have been slow on recruiting a social media manager and sales or marketing executive. Do you think this is the time to get them on board for us to be able to intensify our marketing efforts? So we are in the corporate gifts or souvenir and bathroom and bedroom items. So we serve hotels, homes, hospitals, and we also serve supermarkets and furniture stores as well. So is it a good time to hire a social media manager or sales executive?
I think the first question is, what services would you be able to provide in the new situation? If you're doing those things you've talked about, hotels are massively impacted here in Canada, and I think it'll be the same in Lagos. If people are in curfew and they have to stay home, they wouldn't be going to hotels. Offices are closed, so there won't be offices as well. Souvenirs and gifts are part of the things companies will cut in their budgets in times like this. So unless you're able to reimagine your customer experience and come up with new services that your skills can provide at this time, then the social media or marketing thing will be secondary. I think you need to explore the services and see what new services you can come up with that can serve your people at this time. When you then have those services, then you want to ask yourself, who are the people that will buy the services? Are they on social media? Are they somewhere else? What is the best way of reaching out to them? Then everything else flows from there. I think so. You should start from the question to the answer, not from the answer to the question. If you understand what I mean. So look at your services first. If those services have a potential of growth in what we see as COVID going on forward, then that's where you want to focus on.
Okay, so this is the last question here.
Okay.
So what are your views? What are your views on staff that are paid on commission? because we have closed our store, they will not be making any money. I would like to keep my staff after this season, but what do you advise on paying them something in those times now? Because right now it's extra cost for the business and it's not fair to make it alone. So what do you think? What are your thoughts?
So my suggestions would be a very number of things. I think first of all, like I suggested under HR, throw it open to them and hear their ideas. I think we sometimes underestimate the ideas that some of our guys would have. A lot of people are very active on social media right now. Somebody might be reading from some of the bright minds there and just come to you with an idea that would benefit you. So just the same problem to them and say, guys, you guys, you know, we normally pay based on commission. We can't do that now because we're not selling so much. We would not want to lose any of you, but we are not sure how to go about it. We would like all of you to think about some ideas and reach out. You know, we have a meeting 2 days from now and we can brainstorm and see the way forward. One thing I can tell you is that even if you eventually decide to let them go, because you created that kind of experience in the exit, you've created an emotional bond with them. And if you need to get them back, which I think it sounds like you want to have the same team, it'll be easier to get them back once all of this is over. So that's it. I think it's a way to go about it.
Thank you. So I think there are two other questions that I must have omitted earlier. Yeah. So I'm into fashion industry, precisely into uniform making for schools and corporate organizations. Please, how can I be relevant to my clients at this time?
Yeah, so I think it's similar to the one I said on fashion before. Tips and suggestions on how to keep their clothes, shoes, bags. Because leather, I mean, back to the leather person, leather can get worn out in this time if you're not wearing it and it's not aired. Clothes as well, mildew and all that stuff. So some tips and suggestions here and there. The person is increasing or reducing in size. Some suggestions on how to adjust clothes. You know, do some video tips on simple adjustments of clothes. Any engagement at all that you think people would benefit from. And like I said, under customer, reach out to some people and ask them, how can I be of service to you at this time? Now, that's a very vague question, so you need to time it correctly. But there are some of them I just even tell you that, what are the challenges you're facing right now with, so with cutting of hair, for example, some people are struggling to cut their own hair or the hair of their kids. Any barber can just do some videos right now and, get good followership on that as well. Yeah, so those are my suggestions on the fashion person as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this person is asking that, could you please recommend 2 books to read on succeeding despite the crisis? So he said he's been reading Blue Ocean Strategy, and which has been very useful. I would like to know more helpful books or ways to learn fast and adapt fast.
Yeah, so I think Blue Ocean is a very great book to read at this time because the global world is in the red ocean right now. So finding some new ideas, really great. Another one I'll suggest is maybe more on a personal level is developing our leadership ability, because in this time the most important thing is leadership. People want to see leadership at all levels. So a book that, because I'm a John Maxwell person, I'll probably recommend a John Maxwell book, and one of his classic books on leadership is 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I'm sure some of us have seen that before, read that before. I think at this time a refresher is good. If you're struggling to find time to read, there's an audio version on YouTube that you can just play 20 minutes per day, 2-3 laws per day, and you're done with 21 laws. And for each of them, just ask yourself, how can I bring this to my people, to my business at this time? So I think that's a great book to read. So you're looking at the business from a Blue Ocean strategy perspective, and then you're looking at yourself using that leadership book perspective.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's about the questions that we have for now.
There's a question on that says we have formed a WhatsApp group of every member of our factory beside the admin and the IT groups. This allows me to communicate, boost morale, as well as understand what their mental status is. Many see it as a free holiday without consequence. This is also a good forum to share ideas as to how to move the company forward after all of this. So, okay, it was a comment, not a question. I thought it was a question.
Okay.
But there was one more about what can you say about the effect on automobile repair business? Because we are totally on a lockdown.
Yeah, that's another challenging one at this time. I think I mean, again, another chat group I'm part of, they were even because car insurance is big here, and people were writing a petition that they should ask the insurance companies to reduce their premium or even cancel the premium at this time since we're not driving the cars. I think for the automobile industry, it'll also be a big challenge. And again, I would probably, suggest more of just like value add on services to your team, to your customers, to say, to suggest things around like how to take care of your car at this time. I saw a write-up that somebody did some time back, but you can be more personal and specific to maybe send emails, call, whatever it is that, channels that work for you, and suggest things around like how to take care of a car, because a car should not be stationary for a long period. Again, it's not good for the car. What they can do to make sure the car is still active, caring for the car, and then for your team also just checking on them and seeing how they are doing. If you need to lay off people off, because in that kind of business it's going to be tough, so laying off might be difficult to avoid rather. Another thing you can then do for yourself is explore options as to what else you can begin to do remotely, because again, we don't know how long this would last, and if that's an industry you want to stay in, then the question is, what are your other people doing and navigating through this? So get informed on that. If you need to upskill or learn new things in that line, or if you need to look at another business altogether that will get you through this time, those are some ideas that are coming to me right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. It's been a very, very insightful session. So one of the things I also want to mention before I hand over to Hadenike, right, is the fact that there is also the CBN targeted credit facility,
Okay.
purposely designed, to mitigate the risk
Fantastic.
that businesses might be experiencing at this time. So we've shared the link on the Faith Alumni platform, and if perhaps you've not gotten it, we can also still share it again, maybe in the follow-up email.